as soon as she's reacting, whatever she's giving you, whatever information she's giving you to work with is going to be better than whatever was canned. Like the point of having a line, the point of having an idea of what to go in with is to give you something for when there is nothing, something for when she's not reacting, something for when it's going badly, etc. But as soon as she's reacting, get rid of the canned stuff. Pay attention to the girl and try and really interact with what she's doing, right? So when a girl does something, like a girl like smirks in a certain way, what I want you to do actually is say what you really think in that moment without censoring it. So if she smirked and it was cute, be like, that was such a cute smirk you just did, right? If she smirked and it was weird, be like, that was like the weirdest face you just made at me. But really actually trust yourself and say what you really think. In the same way that if you were with a friend and they did something weird, you would notice it and call them out on it. Right? I want you to act that same exact way with a girl you just met. I want you to kind of assume familiarity. Right? Think of it this way. In game, there are two places in game where you're at a disadvantage. Right? In most of the conversation, you by being a cool guy are at an advantage over the girl because you're just cooler than her and you're conversing. The two places you're at a disadvantage are on the open and on the close. Because on the open, you have to be a little needy. You have to start the conversation because she's not going to do it for you. On the close, you have a specific outcome and agenda, so you can't be completely aloof and dismissive because you have to make sure that agenda happens. Right? Throughout the entire rest of the set, you're at an advantage. Yeah. So when you open, as soon as there's anything that's just normal conversation and you can forget the opener happened and just get into the conversation, you're better off because you've traded the situation where you're at a disadvantage to the situation that's even. And that's where you want to get. The purpose of the open is to get in a conversation where it's forgotten that you ever opened. In game, there's always the balance of too much game and too little game. Right now, you're coming across a little too gamey. If you start being really, really, really natural, you might come off as too not gamey and be too platonic, at which point you want to ratchet it back. But what you generally want to do is just see the results you're getting, try something new, and see how it changes your results. If that's an improvement, maybe do more of it. If it's making it worse, throw that out and try something else. Right? So it's this constant iterative process. Right? I'll tell you, this is like from poker, so it may not make that much sense to you, but I think I can explain it well enough that it will. So when you first start playing poker, you're not that good, really. So your advantage comes from being disciplined. Your advantage comes from not playing very many hands, only playing the best hands so you can't get yourself in trouble and everybody else is playing too many hands, whatever. And it's called playing tight, right? And it's a good way to win, but you're never going to win very much because you're not playing a lot of hands, etc. And you're also very predictable. And then what you need to do to make more money as you start getting more skilled and can do it is you start playing looser, you start playing more hands, and hopefully you're developing an advantage with your actual play later on in the hand so that you can profitably do that. But the way to do it is you start playing really tight and you just loosen up a little bit, loosen up ever so slightly, and then you've been tracking your results. You track your new results. Mm-hmm. So maybe you play 20,000 hands this way, make some tweaks, play 20,000 hands this way, see how you did. If it got better, cool, awesome, that was a good adjustment, keep it. Now tweak it a little further and see what happens with the next 20,000 hands, right? And that's how you do it, right? And you keep going until at a certain point it gets worse and you're like, okay, wait, rein that back in, let's go to what was working. Yeah. Right? And so you don't have to suddenly go from to a little like two-player-ish to like completely like lame and no pickup in your pickup. Just ratchet it down 10%. See what happens. It will probably improve. And then from there, ratchet it down 10% if it's improving. At a certain point, if it stops improving, stop and go back to whatever was the last thing that worked. Right? Okay. But don't think you have to overhaul your game. You should not be like overhauling your game on a continual basis. You should be making little tweaks and then seeing little improvements.